Hey there, female founders. Have you been asking yourself the question, what the heck are angel investors and VCs? These terms that people keep throwing around, what are the difference? Well, if you are asking yourself that question, I'm going to answer it for you today. So let's go. My name is Lauren Kane. I am founder and pitch strategist of VC Worthy Business. I get investors to open their checkbooks for market disrupting female entrepreneurs like yourself. Before we get started, I want to ask you to click subscribe. Oh, the button's over here. Click subscribe for the button over here. And you will be updated every time a new video pops up on this YouTube channel. I'm bringing you all of my tips and tricks for more easily and less painfully raising capital, how to get the attention of investors, how to position yourself correctly, and also just some good facts and information that you need to know along the way. Because fundraising, let's just be real, can be a little bit confusing, and until you need to know about it, you probably didn't know about it. Okay, so let's get started. When you are going out on your fundraising journey, a lot of times there's a question that comes up of, okay, what is the difference between angel investors and venture capital? And that is a really good question. And so the easiest way to answer that question is to tell you that it's basically angels write their checks directly to the company, and venture capital is a fund, a pool of money where the limited partners write their check to the fund and the fund writes the check to you. So I'll further define each in a second, and also talk about, what stage do you look for angels and VCs? So angel investors, let me define that for you. So I worked for Golden Seeds, which is one of the country's largest angel groups. It invests in women-owned, women-led businesses. I was their director of operations for 6 years. And I, really got to see both the angel and the VC side up close. They also had a small venture capital arm that I was actually the fund administrator of. So I was the administrator of their two, I'm going to throw more terms at you, sidecar funds, and their largest fund, which was $26.5 million, which was more institutional. So, just to really confuse things and throw more terms in there for you. So the angel side was comprised of, and still is, it's still in existence, of about 300 angels. And so those angels, and you can come across angels as either individuals or as groups, and those angels invested their funds directly into a company. They made their own personal decision. They would see a company pitch. It would go through our formalized process and due diligence, which included due diligence. And then they would raise their hand and say, yes, I'm committed to investing in this company. So some angel groups pool their funds and will directly invest into a company as one line on your cap table, which is a capitalization table. And basically your cap table shows you who has equity ownership or even debt in your company. So it basically shows, if something were to happen, what is the waterfall and who owns what shares and all of that. So when there's an exit happens, it shows who gets what based off of their ownership. Is the easiest way to really define a capitalization table. You should be on it as the founder or co-founder. So it should be something where you are also included and continue to be included for each round that you raise. Don't ever not be included. Side note. But angels will make the decision and write you a check. Sometimes they will pool their funds and go in one line on your capitalization table. That has a benefit of not having a crowded cap table, which can help you down the line. It's probably another topic for a different video at some point. But angel investors make their own personal decisions. You can seek angels one-on-one, and you can seek angels as a group. If you are just starting out on your journey and you're raising a pre-seed or even a pre-seed, where you're doing like a friends and family, you probably want to go the angel route. Angels and VCs can invest at the same round. Typically, you'll see up until about a C round. Sometimes you'll see angels in C rounds or angel groups, but beyond that, it's usually the angels start to not be able to participate anymore, or will participate just to hold their ownership, or they might even have to let that go. So angels are investing typically earlier stages than VCs, and they are writing their checks directly. So venture capital. So VCs, how they operate is they create a fund, and the fund is a pool of money. The fund is run by GPs or general partners. Those general partners brought in LPs, which are limited partners. Limited partners are limited into basically only writing checks. That is the limit of that is the allowance of what they're able to do. They have no say on the companies that the fund screens, and now they can make suggestions, surely, but they can't say yes or no if there's an investment made, and they can't say, you know, hey, I want to put my money into this directly. So they basically are relinquishing their control over to the fund. The general partners are the ones that make the decision on the investments made. If it's a large enough fund, sometimes there's an investment committee. If it's a really large fund, it's an investment committee with a subcommittee of the sector that they're in, that a company's in. So it really depends. But ultimately, the general partners are the ones that are making the decision. And a fund will be one line on your cap table. VCs and angels can certainly invest in the same rounds, at the same place. They can go through the same due diligence. They're going to ask you the same due diligence questions. So it can be a little bit confusing. The difference between where you need to figure out is angels, since they're investing directly, can get more involved. Funds, well, so you're getting that person who might be more involved, or that group that might be more involved than a fund. A fund, and you need to ask this question. You'll probably hear me say this over and over again. Ask questions of what their investment, how they handle their investments, how active they are in their investments and companies that they invest in. But individual angels will either write you a check or, want to be involved. And so you need to understand what that expectation is up front. Usually you can set expectations in your term sheet to a certain extent, but you do need to understand from an individual what they're looking for. Okay, so for funds, you're going to have interactions of the, designated person within the fund that is going to reach out to you and deal with you and ask you, you're going to be reporting to, all that kind of stuff. You might have the resources of their limited partners if they have certain expertise. That is something you want to ask a fund. Hey, do you have someone on your team that has, or, in your fund, a limited partner, who has expertise working at Home Depot, or working at Johnson & Johnson, or works at, drug company, whatever it may be. And maybe they are willing to make that connection for you. My rule of thumb is that if you can get both angels and VCs, please do. It gives you the diversity. It gives you a wider stretch of people that are investing in you. And so, I would highly, highly recommend it. It's really, and so VCs will start investing at pre-seed, seed. Pre-seed, it's hit or miss. But you will see seed, definitely Series A, Series B, onwards. You will see VCs until private equity would come in or until there is an exit. Typically, there are VCs that will lead or not lead, and they are very clear in that division of the lines. There are also angel groups that will lead and not lead. So golden seeds, they would lead. Leads will help you figure out how to, set the terms, and will hopefully help you figure out, if they're a good lead, how to raise the rest of your round. So I hope that answered the question for you between angels and VCs. If you have any questions, please, ask them in the comment section below. And also check me out on Instagram at Lauren Kane VCWB. I'm also on Clubhouse at Lauren Kane, and on LinkedIn as well. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.